you doing?
Yo.
Welcome back to Leather Helmet Fandom Podcast. It is September 1st. We are, 10 days?
Exactly 1 week away.
Yeah, 1 week away
kickoff.
For Thursday night kickoff, and 10 days away from the first NFL Sunday.
Yeah.
So pretty hyped for that. Today we're going to be going over a couple topics. Jumping in a little fantasy. We've got fantasy crushes up first. Then after that, we're going to be rolling into the fantasy menace. We'll go over each one when we go over it. And then after that, we got our breakout player, our future bets that we like. And last but not least, I believe, is the Guess Who, correct?
Right before that, we'll just do our week one picks.
That's right.
For all the games, too.
We'll run a 60-second run through real fast, just off the top of our domes, guessing who will win in week one. And then, like I said, we'll be finishing off with Guess Who. So let's jump right into it. Real fast, before we do that, actually, can you guys comment, subscribe, and like the video? Most importantly, just share it. That's all I care most about. I don't care if you don't subscribe. I don't care if you like. But the biggest thing is to share. Sharing is caring. Subscribe. Unsubscribe if you already subscribe, and then resubscribe. Thank you very much. Let's jump right into it.
All right. So let's roll right in with the first topic. We got our fantasy crushes. So these are just players that we absolutely love in fantasy this year, and we find ourselves drafting often. So I'll rip it right off the back with, I think we're both honestly high on this guy, at least as far as comparing him to where he's going in drafts.
Definitely.
But I got A.J. Dillon. My man is a beast in general. I mean, like, everyone sees pictures of him, gets hot and bothered, kind of like a Saquon, oh, look at them thighs, boy. But let's just go right into his stats. I mean, this man only had 28% of the snap percentage last year, and he was rolling out with over 800 rushing yards. And he was averaging 4.3 yards per carry, so pretty good. Honestly, I see their O-line going up. I always mispronounce his name, but Bakatari.
Is he actually starting?
Yeah,
I thought there was like something wrong with him.
He's back and healthy.
Okay.
Last year, he only had, I think, one game.
It was the very beginning, too.
And then he had the postseason. But now he's got a whole all-season to recover. I think the O-line is going to be better. His ADP is probably the best part about A.J. Dillon.
Love it.
I mean, if he got overhyped, like let's say someone like Dameon Pierce is jumping up, but not yet. He's not there. Someone like Travis Etienne, I think, is like overhyped. But A.J. Dillon's still sitting at 66.1. So between the 5th and 6th round, depending on your league. But I got him projected at over 1,000 plus rushing yards and over 300 receiving yards. It's no surprise to anybody Devontae Adams is gone. A lot of people don't realize, like, vacated targets doesn't usually mean it's going right to the other receiver. It usually means they're going to throw to their running backs more, or vice versa. When you lose a star running back,
or just run a whole different game script in general. Yeah,
I mean, I could just see them running more in general.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like they did at the beginning of last year. They were more defensive minded. I mean, there's no, I want to say in my mind, any star wide receiver one. Like, Allen Lazard's good, but like, he's not a wide receiver one. And behind that, it's just rookies for the most part.
Yep.
Like, it's Christian Watson and Josh Dobbs. No, Doobs, something Doobs. I don't know. He's been going off in preseason, but I mean, you heard Rodgers saying, I heard him say in an interview, like, yeah, they have flash plays, but they're playing like rookies and they're not disciplined. They're not running the routes like how I want them to be.
Just
so,
pitching.
Exactly. So, I mean, A.J. Dillon, he's got 2 years under the belt with Rodgers. I think he's a better overall runner than Aaron Jones. I don't think he's a better pass catcher. But I like him just overall to score almost like double-digit touchdowns. Yeah, all that to say, like, he's going to not win you your league, but he's going to be such a good running back 3 if that's where you get him at. And if anything happens to Aaron Jones, he's instantly top 10 running back.
The only thing that wearies me about him is he's either right after the running back graveyard dead zone, whatever you want to call it. But someone that doesn't have a lot of running backs might reach on him, and then you're kind of screwed. And you're not going to get him where his ADP is going because people know that he's not part of the dead zone, but he's going after that. So they might reach on him and be like, I don't like any of these people in the dead zone, so I'm going to go and reach.
I mean, the earliest I could see him going though is what, 4th, maybe 5th round.
I could see him in the 4th round.
Yeah, I could see him going there, but even then, it's people are running backs are going in the 4th round that I see him way above, such as like Josh Jacobs or Travis Etienne.
I mean, real fast, just shout out ourselves. You can go and watch our what's it called, our mock draft that we did to test our Josh's
draft tool.
Draft tool he did, and I wanted to draft him in the 4th round, but it said that it could make it back to me, so that's what I'm just saying. Like it really just depends what draft you're in if people are that high on him. But we'll jump over to my first one. My biggest one right now, honestly, is Keenan Allen. I love him as where he's going. He's going like early 3rd. I would say like middle of the 3rd, I would say. His ADP's 31. So I just really like his ADP, which I think a lot of this steers from if we like him or not, where are we getting him. So you can legitimately get 2 great running backs or 2 great, and then 1 running back that is good. Like you can have a great duo in your running backs, and then follow it up with Keenan Allen, and I think Keenan Allen's gonna show out more than anyone that's going around him right there. I'm not entirely sure who's going around there. I think it's like
3rd round.
T. Higgins.
Yeah, you're looking like T. Higgins.
Deontay Johnson is ranked near him. I don't think he should be there though. I don't know if anyone's ranked near him or ranked there, but basically just the people. The people that are going around him. I'm not a big not that I'm not a big fan of them, but I think Keenan Allen can easily finish like top 7 wide receiver. I believe I have him in my top 7 for rankings.
Yeah, I think we both
you can
do.
Go watch that.
I think we ranked him the same.
Yeah, I think mine's 1 higher or something.
I think the only concern with majority of fantasy leagues for him is just his age. They're just worried that he doesn't have the upside that he had before. But I mean, when you got a guy who's as experienced as him, with a Justin Herbert QB on a team that's gonna put up mad points,
and he gets a lot of touchdowns.
He had a down year last year with touchdowns.
Yeah, but he still gets like good amount of touchdowns.
Oh yeah,
like it's not like he ever has like 5 or below. It's something.
It should go
6
up.
Higher. Yeah,
like
it should definitely for his offense.
So,
but and then people always like you bring up the age thing. People always say that year after year after year and year after year after year, he's probably like the most consistent wide receiver, and he doesn't really get hurt like ever. So
I feel like you'd have to have like a big injury, because like, I mean, obviously at some age, everyone's gonna fall off, but I feel like for receivers, like they're overhyped their age, because like most of the time they fall off more because they leave their team or they lose their QB. Not because they're old. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm trying to think of a good example that's like getting older, but it's more because of his QB than anything that he fell off.
I would say, what's his name? But he was, because he got hurt. Julio Jones.
Yeah,
kind of fell off because Matt Ryan started sucking him, but he threw it so much that he just padded his stats. But honestly, he got hurt, moved to Titans, like, and then he kind of fell off.
Yeah, he fell off hard with the Titans.
But that's also because Ryan Tannehill is doo-doo. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
just a whole different year.
Whatever manager, but like,
we'll see what he does with Tom Brady.
Exactly, with Tom Brady, like if they can get a connection, and it seems like they are, you're gonna see the star receiver that Julio Jones really is. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It might even be better than his last couple of years in the Falcons.
All right, well, let's jump on to our second one.
All right, so mine, it kind of raises questions for me of if how much do you like Keenan Allen? Because I think Keenan Allen goes around this guy, maybe just after even.
He's after him.
So in my mind, it makes me wonder, do you like Keenan Allen more than this guy? So my second guy and my first wide receiver crush is going to be CD Lamb. So I honestly just love him because of his new opportunity. You got Mari Cooper gone and almost 200 vacated targets from that team gone. You have Michael Gallup, who's starting, maybe even starting week 1. It's not sure yet, so he's hampered from that ACL injury. So there's just not really targets to go anywhere except Dalton Schultz and CeeDee Lamb and then Tony Pollard out of the backfield. So the chances of him getting under 150 targets is like stupid low. I easily could see him at 160 plus. He had about mid 120s last year and about just 85 receptions. So I see that jumping up to 100 receptions easily, pushing him into that 1,200 plus receiving yards, which is usually top tier, your top 15 guys easily.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's just super safe. And on top of that, I've always liked him coming to the league. He's not the most explosive player, but he seems like a guy who's underrated in his route running. He just has really good chemistry with Dak over the last couple of years they've been together. And finally, because of all that new opportunity, his touchdown should go up too. I mean, he had 5 last year.
I think that's the biggest part about all this, to be honest, is how low his touchdowns were, and I just think he's going to have so much more opportunity.
Yeah,
in the red zone.
But I mean, you give him another 60 points, which is probably what you're looking like compared to last year. He's already easily up in the top 10 wide receivers. So safe floor, and there's nowhere to go but up and up as long as the Cowboys can keep it together and not fall apart on offense.
Real fast, his ADP is 19.4, so going around 19th.
He's going to be your wide receiver 1.
Early
honestly,
second, I guess. Early second, middle second.
Yeah, I feel like I just have less worry about him than almost any wide receiver. And when I say any, I'm more worried about Kupp than I am about CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
It sounds silly, but
I agree.
It makes more sense.
And it's only because Matt Ryan, to be honest, but not Matt Ryan. What the hell am I saying? Stafford. But anyway, it's kind of weird that you have him as one of your favorites because honestly, you can get Keenan Allen and CeeDee Lamb on the same team as well.
That's wild. But who would you take? Say you were up on the turn of 2-3 turn, you knew.
If I have a stack running back, yes. Oh, only one of them. I thought you were gonna say if I had a
no, you only get one
JT
of them.
or
are you
taking CMC?
Are you taking CeeDee or Keenan? Or you can only
I know it's not coming back to me.
Yeah, it's not coming back 4th round.
Ooh, that's a toughie. But I believe I have Keenan Allen on my rankings, so I'm gonna stick to my rankings because I went into details when going to my rankings. So
I think I have CD. I have CD,
right over
6.
I think you have CD right. We're flip flopped. I'm pretty sure.
Well, I have him above Devontae.
CD?
Yeah, but I think I'm in my 5th and Devontae at 6.
Hey. But I know that you had CD higher than I had CD, and I had Keenan Allen higher than I had CD. So I'm gonna go Keenan Allen to be honest. But the thing is I know Keenan Allen will come back around. If depending
not to the 4th,
depending where I am,
probably not. I'm saying if you're
at the 4th pick.
You're the first pick, so you're on that turn. He's probably not coming back. The end of the 4th round. Unless you took both of them. I'm just saying if you only took one.
Well, realistically, Lamb's going the 2nd round. It's either middle or late, sometimes early.
Yeah.
And then Keenan Allen's usually going early 3rd, middle 3rd.
Yeah, so
if I have 1 to 5, I'm probably taking both of them to be honest. If I have a great running back, truthfully, if I have 1 or 2, I'm
would
taking
you rather have CD or Keenan as your wide receiver 1?
My answer is Keenan because I have my rankings.
So you'd probably wait. You probably wouldn't draft CD unless you just didn't have a good running back come back to you.
If I have CD, if I have JT or CMC, I'm taking Lamb if it comes to me, if it gets to me, and then I'm taking Allen.
Taking all these mental notes for tomorrow draft
because JT is league winning.
Oh shit! Nobody's coming back to me.
You know what I mean? JT's league winning, CMC's league winning. You don't really need an RB2 with them too.
Yeah.
And then you have Keenan Allen and CeeDee Lamb as your wide receivers. Come on now.
Yeah, I know.
And then you can go and take another. I love myself guy, AJ Dillon, late in the round, have him as your RB2.
Yeah, that is a really smart strat.
But anyway, jumping into my second one, Cook. I don't know what it is. I can't get enough of Cook and Dalvin Cook. I can't get enough of either of them. The thing is, Jefferson is a wide receiver, and running backs are very hard to find after the 2nd round, in my opinion. After, I would say, the 3rd round, maybe.
Who did the Vikings, I can't remember, pick up as their backup QB just recently, the last 2 weeks?
It was always
somebody known.
The fucking skull guy that was in the playoffs.
No, he's been gone. No, it's some known guy. I think they popped him off Raiders. All I know is the Vikings are super setting themselves up to make a Super Bowl push. Like everything they're doing is saying like we're going all in.
Yeah, definitely.
It's crazy.
I just like how their whole, I would say their whole front office, at least like as far as coaches go, is completely new, and I think Zimmer was like holding them back year after year after year because he's supposed to be defense minded coach, and their defense really wasn't that all that good. But anyway, the only reason I wouldn't choose Jefferson over Cook is solely because Cook is a running back, and I can't find running backs after the dead zone area. So I need running backs in the first and second round, unless I'm getting two great wide receivers with an amazing league-winning running back. So I like that you can take Cook early and feel confident, and I like that you can take Cook later in the back first and feel confident. And then I love that you can come back around and pair him with another amazing running back. So if you get him in the late round, you can come back around and get him with a Swift, Javonte Williams. You can get him with, I don't know who else would drop in your kind of fantasy. Maybe Najee Harris. People are just completely off with because they know that it's going to fall off, but I highly doubt it. Who's another running back that might fall around there? You got Swift, Javonte Williams. I only know if Javonte Williams will make it there. I mean, Swift will make it there. But either way, you can pair him off with another good running back as well. And I just feel very confident, no matter where I am in the draft, for the first round, drafting him over everyone else other than, CMC and JT.
You have the one guy I don't like this year just because ADP is Eckler. Do you have Eckler? You don't.
Eckler's my third.
So you do have Eckler above Dalvin.
Yes, I would take Eckler over him.
See, like that's where I just can't get myself to draft Eckler. Like everything seems like he will get the workload again, but I feel like his last year is not going to be repeated, and I don't think it's even going to be close unless he just rolls a dice and gets touchdowns like crazy.
The biggest thing is Cook gets hurt a lot more than Eckler does.
I mean, I get that, but I feel like Cook is the better running back.
Yeah,
and
is
the workload guy versus Eckler.
I agree.
They don't want it.
It's solely based off of
like
injury.
Taking Eckler, your first round pick, as a not workload running back is so weird to me. Like I
think he's still a
it.
workload running back. I would say he has 75+ percentage of between the running backs. Okay,
no, he's not
I
getting.
think that, but I think it is.
All right,
you don't go out and try.
He'll barely get 60%.
Try getting Kenya and Drake after you just drafted Spiller. What the hell's the point of Kenya and Drake? You don't go and do that unless you know Spiller isn't that good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like his backups aren't too much competition, which is why I feel like
Eckler.
It makes sense, but they're just not going to use him. Like,
all right. Well, we'll have to just wait and see. But my biggest thing is just where you take Cook. You could take him in the beginning of the rounds. You could take him the end of the rounds of the first round. That's the only place you're really going to get him. If you get him in the back end, then you just made out big time. But anyway, and his offense is just honestly one of the offenses that I love this year as far as fantasy goes. And I just see them passing the ball more than they have before. So that's also another amazing thing for PPR. Cook's a very ground and pound, but also agile running back. So I think he can do both. The only downside is he might get more hurt like that, but who knows? Maybe he won't because he won't be grounding and pounding as much. It could be viewed either way you want it to be, but my biggest thing is just where you can get him. And he's easily the top 4, top 5 running back in my eyes, as long as he stays healthy. So get past the healthy part, I think he's top 5 running back, and you can get him late in the round if you really want to. So let's jump on our third and last.
All right. So I got another wide receiver, and I think I'm more in love with this receiver than I am with CD, just because his ADP is so much lower than CD's. So CD's going the second round. This guy's going in the 4th, sometimes 5th round. DJ Moore of the Carolina Panthers. I mean, people hate on Baker, but I just love him in this situation. It's another new head coach, which he's had every single year, so it's nothing new to him to see a whole new playbook, which will work towards DJ Moore's side. But on top of that, QB, whatever, he has this scenario that probably is the biggest chip on his shoulder compared to, I want to say, definitely any QB, but almost any player. He started off like, the star new rookie that's going to come out and change the Browns for the better franchise.
Browns?
And then, honestly,
Panthers.
No, like I'm saying, like they expected him to be the franchise QB after his first year on the Browns. Like the Browns were like, oh yeah, we're gonna be so great. We got this new QB that set records, and then they brought in OBJ then the following year, and they're like, oh, we're gonna be off to a fresh start. We got the best running back duo.
I understand.
So just a lot of hype around them, and didn't meet the expectations. I personally don't blame Baker as much as I blame who they kept bringing in at head coach. Like, I don't know who's running their Browns, but their GM's doing a shiz job on who they're picking up. So I like Baker to have a really good comeback year. More like his rookie season, getting closer to that 30 touchdown mark, if not even pushing over that. DJ Moore himself, before even Baker comes in, has been playing with trash QBs between like Kyle Allen, Cam Newton in his old age. But just last year, he had over 160 targets, which made him 5th in the whole NFL in targets. And with all those targets, he was only able to get 4 touchdowns.
Yeah,
so,
I think that is the wild part.
I mean, that easily, if there was a bet out there like 7+ touchdowns, I'm not rich, but I'm dropping like at least 10 units on that. But realistically, his over-under is probably like 8.5, which is about where I see him getting, like 8 to 10 range. I don't think he's a huge touchdown guy, but I do think his route running and target separation is great. So I see Baker just feeding his favorite guy. I mean, he's going to stand out. Like, his competition is Terrence Marshall in his second year. Is Curtis Samuel even there anymore?
Nope, he went to Washington.
Yeah, there's not really much competition at all.
No.
So I see him getting another year of 150+ targets. I see the Panthers overall being better just because CMC is back. They got a little bit more mojo with the new QB. They feel a little bit better about themselves. Their defense is young and still improving. I think it was actually good last year. But I just love him. I mean, like I said, his ADP's, I could see him easily as my wide receiver 1.
I love where he's going as far as who else is going in that area. I think he's like my top guy in that area.
Like if I took CD at my number 1, if I took him as my wide receiver 1,
you'd have to get in the second round.
Yeah, my second round, I have no problem taking a running back next round and then jumping to DJ Moore the following, just because the opportunity, like they're going to be top 10, at least an opportunity. So I've rolled out, and I'm talking usually full PPR. Obviously, if you're going standard leagues, it takes a big hit on those two guys between CD and DJ. But yeah, that's my final guy. I hope I get all 3 of them in every draft I'm in. I'll probably be hype, and if they all fail me, I'll probably never draft them again. But I do love them, and I don't think it's going to happen.
All right, my last one is Jalen Hurts.
Oh,
again,
the Eagles.
Again, this is solely because of ADP. You get to wait on your QB, so you get to get your running backs, you get to get your wide receivers, maybe a tight end if you want to, but you get to just like chill and wait and know confidently that you are going to get a good quarterback later in the round, and you can get your guys before your quarterback. Whereas other guys, you have to reach. You have to reach with Allen. You have to not reach, but you have to get them early in the league. So that means you're not getting like a running back, a wide receiver that someone else is getting in that round. So you have Josh Allen. You have who's the second one?
Running backs, or just
Justin Herbert comes off the board. Jackson, Mahomes.
Yeah,
all 4 of those guys, but basically he's
Kyler Murray might even.
Yeah, he's basically the 7th, if not 6th, 7th QB to come off the board. Mm-hmm. And like we talked in our other podcast, he has the Yak King on his team. He made Ryan Tannehill look good in the Titans solely because of his yak. So now he has that. You have who's the other wide receiver guy? I can't think of his name on the Eagles.
Devontae Smith.
Yeah, you have Smith. You have Goddard. You have Miles Sanders, which I think is not a great running back. I think he's a very good running back that is in a crappy position. But you just have a great,
a great position.
They are a committee backfield, but anyway,
yeah, but he's.
I just mean fantasy wise, he's in a bad position. Like he's not gonna have elite stats. But either way, he's on a good offense. They're all on. I think this is like their time. This is their year. Their schedule is super easy. We talked about that again on like our last podcast. So I think they can easily win a lot of games, if not 10, maybe 11 games. And I think their defense can get them a lot of time possession. In most of their games, I would say they probably win time possession because of their
100%.
defense, and also because they run the ball more than like any.
I'm like
team.
slightly scared that their defense is overrated. I mean, it's still going to be top 10, but like I feel like they're not as good as people make them out to be. Mainly just because of age in the secondary. Like their secondary is really good with Bradbury and Slay.
And then you also have
But
Epps.
there- a
Epps
lot
looked
of-
amazing last year.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
safety.
they're all star players. I just feel like I don't think they're going to play as well together as people are expecting.
Yeah, but either way, I think their offense is it. So even if he's a bad
Passer.
passer and he throws interceptions, his running ability is going to make up for it, and he can get touchdowns. He can run in for touchdowns. If his running backs get hurt, he will be the running back. I think he can get loose and make a play that shouldn't happen, and just pass it off to Goddard or running back. So I think he can do phenomenal, and it really just comes down to his ADP. I mean, we get to legitimately wait
It doesn't
all
even
the
make
way
sense,
to the
honestly.
7th round, 6th round to get him. I'm going to get all my guys before that. You can have, 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers. You have all of your guys set, and then go grab your QB. Come on now. Like, there's no other QB that I like better than him as far as ADP goes, other than a sleeper that I just won't say, but most people aren't sleeping on him. So, anyway, that's enough of ours. Let's jump right into it again.
Tiptoe through the window, by the window, that is where I'll be. Come tiptoe through the tulips with me.
We got the Fantasy Menace.
That drop, baby.
So, yeah, just the guy that's getting drafted way too early. It doesn't make any sense to us, and he will destroy your team just because of where you draft him. You're gonna want to keep starting him, almost like a true NFL team. Drafting him, we're not drafting him first round. Well, hopefully that's not how early we are, but kind of that pedigree that NFL feels like when they draft in the first round, that they have to play him over and over and give him a chance, and they do nothing but destroy the team.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm going to get right into my guy. I have Cam Akers of the Los Angeles Rams as being the menace of the year. I mean, I was surprised and shocked by his ADP alone. Like, if he was going later, I'd be like, okay, it makes sense. Like, yeah, he's technically the starting running back still. So I would take him in a later round. But this dude's going 37th ADP off the board. So you're talking end of the very beginning of the 3rd round in a 12-team league and the middle of a 3rd round. Well, jumping into the 4th round for a 10-team league. But that's still crazy. It means he's your RB2. Like, he has to be.
He has to be. Or you're taking him.
And you must just love the Rams and must be blinded by the Rams Super Bowl win, because Cam Akers was straight trash all through the postseason. He averaged, coming back from his injury, 2.6 yards per carry, straight poop.
And he's also coming off an injury that he probably should not have came back for, but they did it obviously because they're doing playoff push.
Yeah, that's like going back to what I was just talking about. Like, they felt like they had to play him because they want him to be the new star player that they drafted high on in the NFL draft. But every doctor and every history of people tearing their Achilles never come back as explosive. I mean, they come back mediocre, good NFL players, but that's not – they get beat out by their competition, plain and simple. Like, some recent ones would be like Marlon Mack. My dude just got dropped on the Texans. We have Deontay Foreman, who actually I still like, but he's always a backup. There's a backup on the Titans, which is not saying much. It's Henry, but now I think he's the backup, or maybe 3rd string. I can't even tell you what team he's on. Maybe like Commanders.
He was behind Texans before, behind DJ, David Johnson.
Yeah,
I think that's where he started.
But I mean, that was a guy that when he was on the Texans in his rookie year, like, could rip one off like it was nothing for 100 yards. And as soon as he tore it, he just doesn't look explosive. He still has strength, but his overall just agility and cuts aren't as quick. So I don't ever see his explosiveness coming back, Cam Akers. And on top of that, his competition behind him has already been proven to be good. Henderson was amazing last year. I think before Henderson got hurt, he was on pace to be like the 9th running back overall. I mean, he ended at 26, but his pace he was killing it. His yards per carry were way over 2.6, I'll tell you that.
Not just that, I think you stick any running back on that team, they did good last year. Sonny Michel did good. Henderson did good. So I think it's more of an offensive line thing. So if this dude fumbles like once or twice, he might just get kicked the curb, take over.
Or if he's like when he was putting up 2.6 yards per carry, he was getting a full workload in the postseason, like almost 20 carries a game. They're not going to keep giving him that if he's putting up those crappiest stats. And on top of that, their O-line I think is a little bit worth because they lost Whitworth. What's his name? Big white boy.
You said it right. Whitworth.
Yeah. He retired after the Super Bowl win, so he was a all-star, honestly, O-line player. So it goes down a little bit there. Yeah, I'm not taking him ever, not even close. Like he would have to drop to like the 6th, 7th round. I still like some running backs that late above him. Some of them being
A.J. Dillon.
Some of them that are going after him, or Montgomery. Don't love him, but I would still take him over. I wouldn't take ETN over him, but ETN's going after him. Breece Hall's going after him. Elijah Mitchell, A.J. Dillon, Josh Jacobs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Miles Sanders, Chase Edmonds. Like the list is insane for how many starters that barely have any competition. And this dude has so much competition. He's getting drafted like 3 rounds ahead of him. Like, it doesn't make sense in my head what everyone in the community is thinking. I'm guessing just because it's the Rams. Like, what else would it be?
Yeah, that's all it is.
But that's a waste of a draft pick. Like, it's a waste. You might as well go to the waivers after week 4.
Yeah, for sure. But my thing about him, too, is I think he's the start of the dead zone of running backs, to be honest, because before him, you have James Conner, Elliott, Fournette, Williams, and then after him you have Montgomery, Breece Hall, Etienne, Jacobs.
I think
that's exactly where it starts. Just second you see him being the next running back up on your board, ignore the running backs, please.
Yeah, I might take
Montgomery.
Still not. I don't know.
I
don't like him that high, but I would. That's probably the only person I might pull if I had to. Like, I'm an idiot and drafted 3 wide receivers.
Another thing too about him, I believe what was the status on him? It was like 4 days ago. It says,
he was dealing with injury again.
Yeah,
right?
dealing with a soft tissue injury for the past week, and apparently he couldn't do any running during your workout.
Yeah,
you can't run, and you're a running back.
Anytime you injure your ankles, your knees, and your hips, they're all going to start wearing down the other side or the other parts of your body, like in the lower half.
Yep.
I mean, I know from experience, and it's not good when you're playing really hard sports like that.
All right, well, my menace is Kyle Pitts.
I like him.
I like Kyle Pitts as a player. I don't like his positioning. His ADP. His ADP and his where like how he is on the team. What should I say? Like his QB and stuff. Why can't I think of the word? Anyway,
his scenario.
Yeah,
type of deal.
Either way, his ADP is 32, so you're getting him in the 3rd round, either late or second or early. Doesn't really matter. You're getting him in the 3rd round, and it's a tight end. So I'm gonna make this point again. Running backs are crucial this year, I think, in my eyes, more than ever. Even though people say that year after year, I think, truthfully, running backs are very heavy on my list, at least. So you're getting them in the 3rd round. If you decide to get them in the 3rd round, you're either missing out on a wide receiver or a running back. And if you get 2 running backs, then you're probably not going to have a top-tier wide receiver if you're getting Pitts. And I cannot see Pitts as a top-tier wide receiver. You can get Keenan Allen in the 3rd round, and you have to take Kyle Pitts. You're going to tell me Kyle Pitts is a better option than Keenan Allen? No fucking way. I don't care what anyone says. I'd rather have Keenan Allen as my wide receiver 1 than Kyle Pitts as my tight end one, especially because the only guys that are ahead of him is Kelsey and Andrews. I love them. It is what it is where they're going. If you want to jump on them, then that's you. That's just after that, I don't think it's really anything like them. Like they're 20-plus point game guys that they can get you 20-plus points. For him to get you 20-plus points with, who is it, Marcus Mariota and Ritter, whatever his name is, that shit is not happening, all right? You don't go from Matt Ryan to that and then expect a better year. That's not going to happen, especially because this is the same exact, basically, wide receiver core as far as talent-wise go, because you didn't have Ridley. Yeah, you didn't have Ridley after the first 4 weeks. You didn't have him, so he's not going to be here this year again because he's suspended. You still have Patterson that was doing running back and whatever. Russell Gage is gone, but now you have Brian Edwards that took over.
London.
You drafted Drake London not first overall, but in the first round. So it's just too many things that are pointing to I can't see him having a better year than last year, and if that's the fact, I can't draft him in the third round. And even if he does have a better year than last year, I still can't draft him in the third round because it's not going to be a better year as in a tremendous leap. And I don't care how much the Falcons are losing by. They're going to throw picks nonstop, and it's going to solely come down to PPR, how many receptions this dude can get, not how many yards can this dude get or how many touchdowns can this dude get. And I'm not relying on a third-round dude to just lead me by receptions and solely receptions, especially when they're not going to
fourth.
If he drops to fourth, possibly, but it all depends on what I have on my team.
Do you have any tight ends after him that you like more? Do you like?
Yeah, that's the thing is you can get a tight end that has better value.
Do you like them
later?
Do you really think they could end higher?
Yeah, Dalton Schultz, I think can end higher.
And who else? I feel like the list ends there.
Let me see who the tight ends are.
Darren Waller.
Darren Waller, I think can end higher. Hawkinson, I think can end higher.
Not Kenny end, but is there a better chance that they end higher?
Honestly, I never did the rankings, but I would put Kyle Pitt probably below Darren Waller. I would put him below Schultz. I would put him below Hawkinson, and that's probably as far as I get.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. If you like them
3,
more,
4,
it makes
5.
a lot perfect sense.
He's my sixth tight end.
See, I still have him
as far as where he's going to land.
My third, definitely, if not my second. But I get what you're saying. It's just not worth the ADP.
It's really not. In the third round, even if you get him, you're gonna have to take him at the early fourth then, which is the wraparound from the third, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to take him in the early fourth, and then you're not gonna come all the way back until you get another thing, into the 5, whatever it is. But you're legitimately reaching so hard on him. I feel for what he is. He's not a top tight end where Andrews and Kelsey can legitimately be league winners at some times during the year, especially with how Mark Andrews had a better year last year than Kelsey did last year. So we just see the tick up from Andrews again and being a top tight end. So I just don't want to. If I'm drafting a tight end there, it's going to be Mark Andrews or Kelsey, and Kelsey's not going to fall that far. Possibly Mark Andrews might get that far. Yeah. Doubt it though. But it's really just that.
It's I mean, it goes against yours, but I wouldn't put too much thought to it because it's preseason. But the highest QBR for preseason was Mariota.
That's fine. I think he's less accurate than Matt Ryan, to be honest.
Oh yeah, 100% less accurate.
So it's a drop down. Marcus Mariota is more mobile than Matt Ryan.
Yeah, so he could take some touchdowns too.
Take touchdowns. Take a shit. I suck. My offensive line sucks. Let's just go run it for 5 yards and get first down instead of throwing the ball.
Yeah.
So I just see that, and it's just Patterson is also up in the air where he just came out of nowhere last year and just started getting running backs and wide receiver.
But I feel like Mariota has been hurt a lot recently, even as a backup. He's been injured, not even playing, and I'm okay, so if he gets injured, I'm definitely not trusting a rookie.
Exactly.
To do anything with a tight end one.
I think the people are looking at it the most as they're going to be down by a lot, so they're going to throw him the ball a shit ton. So he's just going to get all of the work.
Well, he's just.
But I don't care about all the work if you're not going to get touchdowns with it. It's like fucking DJ Moore. You can get all the damn work, but you're not going to get any touchdowns because your team sucks so much. You're not going to get a lot of receiving yards because your man can't throw that far. accurately.
I guess it's just because it's a safe tight end. Like, you're getting at least top 7 tight ends, so you don't have to worry about playing the waiver wires for tight ends throughout the year. You kind of just put them in. You're like, yeah, whatever.
But
might
not
give
safe
me-
for third round.
He might give me 8 to 12 points every year, every week, every year. You know what I mean? So, I mean,
Yeah,
if you want...
But that's not good for third. If you're talking
I
about
wouldn't suggest it.
third, you're hoping for like 15 to 17 every game.
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
Like Keenan Allen can get you
But
15 to 17.
But you're
every
also
single
comparing
week.
a wide receiver to a tight end. Like,
Exactly.
this is a tight end position. You can't swap it out. So, like, you could find a wide receiver later. Granted, this year I like late tight ends. So
That's what I'm saying. I just don't like Kyle Pitts where he's going. If it goes later, then sure I'll like him. But the fact is he's getting drafted in top 5 rounds, and I don't like him.
I think he ends exactly where he's drafted, though. Tight end 3.
All right, we'll have to wait and see. I don't think he will be, but we'll wait and see. That's my menace. We'll jump on to our next guy, explain it, let the drop hit, baby.
We got the breakout sleeper. So this guy is just fallen, or he's just not looked at in drafts at all. We're going with anything ADP of 100 plus. So looking into that really 8th round and later, but has the potential to be pretty much a league winner because you're getting him for free, and he could be your number 2 running back, your number 2 wide receiver. I guess you could say, if you wanted to, go for your number 1 QB. Granted, I feel like QB is usually a spot you can just waiver wire if you really need to. But with all that said, how about you start us off? Who we got sleeping? Who we got sleeping this year?
The man I got sleeping in my bed this year is GP, a.k.a. NFL Young Bull. George Pickens. He's going to be out there fucking picking some balls down from the sky
Sounds like Chase Claypool, yes.
by Pick It himself. Chase Claypool had an amazing rookie year. All right. A lot of people forget that, but
it was good.
he had like 11 touchdowns, I think it was. Something like that.
I don't know.
He had 4 touchdowns in one game.
Yeah,
anyway.
so one game you get good for fantasy, and the rest.
No. He was good fantasy wise rookie year for sure. Look that up. But anyway, I just think he's the best option when it comes down to tight ends. I think people are sleeping
Wide
on
receivers.
Yeah,
Not tight end, right?
Yeah, I don't know why I said tight end. The best receive. He's the best option for Steelers when it comes to TDs. I think I meant to say touchdowns, and I said tight end. But I think he's their best option. I think he can go up there and get it. He's a big dude. His the hell's that shit called?
Wingspan, catch radius.
Catch radius is very, very good. The only thing I would say is you have Deontay Johnson that his route running is probably the best on the entire team, and his yak is amazing as well. So I think they will still be feeding him the most. But the thing is GP can run block as well. We all saw his clips. If you want to fucking find the clip, Josh, and edit it in.
Doesn't help fantasy.
He is a baller. I'm just saying he's going to be in every single down. Where Claypool last year, they would pull him and Juju in and out. And I believe his like percentage was at like 70, sometimes 60 in some games. Where I think GP is going to be in there 80 to 90% of the snaps. So I think he's going to be in there a lot, which gives him a lot of opportunities to get the ball. I think they're going to scheme him up. Had an amazing preseason. I would say out of all wide receivers, probably had the best preseason. And on top of that, he's coming in with 2 quarterbacks. Some people could look at it as a bad thing. Some people could look at it as a good thing. That they just don't know who they're going to start. But the thing is I like them both enough to make George Pickens look good and get him enough work to get it. As the sure fact of, I like both of our quarterbacks better than I did like Ben just last year. So I think regardless of who they choose, I think it's going to be an upgrade in QB. And I think George Pickens is going to go out there and shine like a motherfucker and just surprise everyone, especially because people slept on him and he went to the second round. When if he didn't get that injury last year, then he easily would have been the first round. People would have been talking to him way more than who was it, Gardner from like Jets, and I can't think of Drake London went first round.
Drake London, Chris Olave.
Yeah, a bunch of people. He would have been talked about more if he just didn't get hurt.
Treylon Burks.
But Steelers took the bet on him, and I think they're going to win this bet because it's going to show this year. And like I said, It's a breakout sleeper. People are sleeping on him. He's going 100. His ADP is 122. Come on now. You can sit there. No one's even going to think about him. I'm just going to take him. And best case scenario, one wide receiver on the Steelers gets hurt. Bam. Automatically upgrade. Like, it's as simple as that. And I don't even think he needs that. I think he can do it without anyone getting hurt. And on top of that, Steelers just have so many options. They have Muth coming out of the motherfucking slot. Then you have Deontay Johnson doing every single run route.
All right,
in the
Steeler hype
books.
needs to calm down.
And then you have
This is getting out of
Najee
fantasy.
Harris. So I think they have a well-rounded offense. So I think he's going to be able to get in enough positions where he's one-on-one with a dude, make a crazy play, and that's it.
I feel like he just doesn't have the opportunity. I mean, like, he's a great receiver. Everybody's already seen it. The hype's real. The Steelers are known for drafting like some of the best receivers. Whoever's scouting for them for receivers knows what he's doing. So that's not really the question. It's more so, you just said it. The team's well-rounded, and they have good weapons everywhere.
So will he get the...
But will he get, like, he probably needs 80 targets, at least to get, like, in the range of, okay, yeah, he broke out as a sleeper, you know what I mean?
I mean, I'm not saying this dude is like a fourth-round wide receiver. I'm just saying this dude's 166 overall drafted. So I think he's going to, like...
But you need to be able to start him.
Yeah, I think he could be easily what's it called? Flex. Easily a sexy-ass flex. You'd be like, look at this guy got...
I mean, he's sexy, but I don't know. And then, like, you got... If you, like you said, you want Pickett starting, like, unless he pulls out some, like, Herbert or, like, really good rookie season, like, rookie QBs 15, 20 touchdowns max in their rookie season.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I just feel like the upside's really, really capped. Like, it's not a bad draft pick because you're just betting on his
I'm not
talent.
saying he's going to have a huge upside. I'm saying that he's getting drafted at 166 overall.
Right.
So my man's going to be a great flex.
Let me pull in my sleeper because this dude could be a league winner. Like, you're talking a guy who potentially, I mean, granted, if let's say Deontay Johnson got hurt, I could make the same argument that George Pickens, right?
Yeah. GP.
Like, how high
NFL.
how high can GP? Sounds so weird, like I'm playing fucking RuneScape.
I didn't even think about that.
How high can he get if Deontay Johnson is out the whole season after week 1?
I think he's
Like
the number one
15?
target on
but
that team.
I'm saying receiver fantasy, like how
Top
high
15.
can he get? Okay. So I guess that kind of lines up with my thought process
Possibly top 10.
with the guy I want as my sleeper this year. So ADP looking at that 136, looking pretty deep in the rounds, like 10 round plus. We're looking at Darrell Henderson. So
He's
back
130?
to the 136 on sleeper right now. So sleeper is usually right average in between all the apps. Usually it's like 110 to 140. But with all that said, like, the Cam Akers hate is real. Like, this dude is going to outperform Cam Akers. He might not completely steal the role as a workload running back. I mean, he might, but I don't think he will just because they're really stuck on giving Cam Akers the opportunity. But like we just said, Cam Akers is already dealing with injury. So that's just going to be an excuse for them to sit him, and they're going to act like he's going to come back. But in reality, Henderson's just going to do what he did last year, which is be on pace for a top 10 running back. Like, you're getting a guy that is in the 10th round that could be a top 10 running back.
I agree. But I think it all comes down to injury.
Yeah, but the dude's already coming off the worst injury you can have.
I completely agree. I think this
and he's
is
already hindered.
I think
like, it doesn't.
This fucking sleeper is an amazing pick, to be honest. I was all over him too, but I'm not gonna like.
The one thing I would say though is like,
sleeper.
The one thing I would say is, don't purposely draft Cam Akers and Henderson to be like, oh, I got it locked down. Like, I've done that
I
before,
learned my
but
lesson
it's
over that
always
stuff.
smarter to draft other people's
Yeah.
backups because
Learned that this year.
you get so much upside if one of their guys gets injured versus, like, let's say it's a backup to your running back one, like backup to CMC. Like, you're not doing anything except filling that spot back in with someone who's going to be a little bit worse.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. If I if someone else drafts Dalvin Cook, I want to go after Alex and Madison because it gives me a lot more value because I drafted somebody else instead of Dalvin Cook at that first round.
Yep. Because you could have 2 starting running backs.
Exactly. Like it just your upside goes crazy when you have other people's backups. So make sure you don't do that. Don't get both and like try to see how it pans out. Just go for Henderson.
The weird part about that thing too is I think I unintentionally did that year after year after year just to be an ass and like take someone else's backup so they couldn't get it because that's how I thought about backups like before this year. I was like, oh yeah, I got to get my backup to my running back that's elite so that way I could do it. But then I was like, back in the day, I would just, or even just last year, I would take other people so I'd be like, you're screwed. Like I'm going to have yours and then I'm going to be the number one. So I did it off of spite, but now I do it off of like knowledge.
I mean, the only downside really to that is you want to have a deep roster in your league, or you pretty much just want a deep roster because you don't want to clog up spots if you're like, I really should drop him. He's not doing anything type of deal. But that's why you should just have a good bench size in all your leagues. You should have at least 2 IR spots. I mean, we're in stupid COVID season, so you got to have that. But yeah, I mean, I could give out some honorable mentions to sleepers.
Yeah.
What about like a Kenneth Gainwell because Miles Sanders is still hurt.
Don't like Gainwell. I don't like Eagles running backs. So it's pretty weird though that we both chose that because legitimately George Pickens goes 122nd overall and Darrell Henderson goes 124th overall. So they're 2 off.
What are you looking at?
Season ADP projections for sleeper. Legitimately, it's George Pickens. Then 2 picks later, Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson's 124 and George.
Well,
Pickens.
You're talking about projections and points though, right?
It's probably off ADP. Points. Yeah, total points.
Okay, so they're pretty much expected to score the same amount of
average
points.
draft points.
Yeah, I mean, I think Henderson ended with 180, 190 last year.
Average draft position is what I'm looking at. My bad.
Well, I'm looking at a mock draft right now. It says 136 for Henderson, and we could look at what's it called real quick.
ADP season ADP 2022 season ADP. George Pickens 122nd. It's under all.
It's just weird that the mock draft should be all updated with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, but that I think it's just weird that we both chose guys right to back to back. Yeah.
Yeah, they got George Pickens at 116. Maybe that's just not updated. So obviously Pickens is rising as.
Honestly, another honorable mention could be Julio Jones. He could have a phenomenal year.
Love it.
129th overall.
Honestly, he's an awesome pick, and you'll kind of almost know right away
if it's going to happen.
A good pick.
You could drop him real fast too. You're getting him at 129th.
Yeah.
You don't like it. It's not turning out well. You're going to know.
What's OBJ?
You're going to know in the beginning of the year rather than the end of the year because it's just going to get worse from him. But the beginning of the year will be great for him if it's going to be great at all. OBJ, I'm way off.
197. Yeah, I mean, the only reason I like OBJ is just, I mean, you'll have to sit on him, but the one thing that's good is you could probably put him on their IR spot if you draft him. So just throw him in there and then pick up another guy.
To be honest, a QB we got in best ball draft, I actually kind of like now more and more after the preseason games is
QB. Tua? Yeah.
I kind of like him. He showed up a little bit. He's definitely, what do you mean by overhyped? Because he was overhyped last year. I feel
like the preseason's getting overhyped. But
yeah, but you have Tree Kill on your team.
Yeah,
and
it's
he's
just Tyreek putting his backpack on.
Yeah, exactly. It's that, and then you have, I think, a great running back duo there with
Chase Edmonds and Mostert.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. I do like their team this year. I just hope they don't let down.
But other than that, I mean, I really don't see any that I can really think of. There's other guys that you might like, but I just like those 2. Because, like I said, I really like your pick. I would go that route, but I didn't really want to put it on the podcast.
Yeah,
but
it's weird that I haven't been thinking about him when I'm doing my mocks for some reason, Henderson. Which is even more reason
I just thought about it because of the news that came out 4 days ago where the dude said he can't run in practice. If you can't run in practice, then that's not a good thing at all. Plus, Rams are obviously a high power offense. Anyway, let's jump onto it. You can tell the next one? It's so brave.
Future bets rolling up in here.
It's the future I can see.
We're just going to pop you off with ones that stand out to us as like locks for the most part. I mean, I do have one that's a little bit more of a, I mean, it's long shot odds, but I still think it's great for what I see as like a 70% hit, if not higher. Yeah, let me go right back to one of my fantasy crushes. I got AJ Dillon, 750 plus rushing yards. This is not the best odds, but negative 125. I just feel like it's a guaranteed lock. I mean, he did this last year. He beat it. He got like 801 with only 180 carries and a 28% snap percentage. So everything projects to go up. Like, there's no reason it shouldn't go up unless of injury. So 200 plus carries, you're telling me this dude's not averaging 3.5 yards per carry? Yeah, get out of here. I guess you would say what kind of makes me think also that Vegas is thinking the same thing is you get this at negative 125, right? But if you try to go to 1,000 plus, you would think the odds would go up a decent amount. 250 more yards, it only goes to plus 200. But
that's kind of telling me that the 750.
They're thinking
guaranteed.
it's guaranteed, like at that 800 plus range. But if you go to 1250 plus, it goes like to plus 1200. So they're
For
like,
him to get 1250 plus, Jones would have
like,
to get hurt.
Exactly. Like, that's what I completely agree with what Vegas is putting out there. Like, he's 800, 900 almost locked in.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like this bet, barring injury. A lot of people always say, like, if you're going to bet futures, bet the under, because
Injuries.
more likely there are injuries that pull back on that. And I get it, but I mean, 750, like, come on, dude. This dude's in his third year. He wants to prove himself, get that big contract. So I'm dropping 5 units on it.
Damn.
Let's roll with it.
Going with units already.
Yeah, we're
Season
rolling
hasn't
right
even
in.
started.
Oh, this is a juice. This is the real stuff.
All right, well, jump on my future bet. Honestly, I got a couple, but I'm just gonna spit them out just because I like them. No really no really real reason why. But
Reese.
Chargers to win the division. I think it's a stacked division. I think anyone can win it. So you give me plus 240 for Chargers to win it when I think they could easily make it to the AFC Championship, and I think they could easily make it to the Super Bowl. And I think they could
favored
not easily, but I
of
think
the
they
whole
can.
division.
No, Chiefs are. They're minus. Chiefs
I
are
feel like I
minus
like
money.
Chiefs the least to win it.
Nah, I like Raiders.
I like them third
yeah,
place.
Raiders least.
Yeah.
And to be
That's
honest,
the-
Broncos could even be least too. Like, no one knows what's going on with the Broncos. We just know that their defense is pretty good. We know that you have Wilson.
Broncos about to pop off.
Yeah, we'll see. But I can see Chargers with how much they've improved in the offseason. Give me Chargers all day at plus 240. Come on now.
Yeah.
That's just like, give me money. Even if it doesn't happen, oh well, dude.
They're going to be scary.
Yeah.
Like, whoever they play week 1, I feel bad for.
As long as injuries don't happen, then it is what it is. If they have huge injuries, like QB goes down or I don't know, a wide receiver goes down or some shit like that. But
honestly, it'd be fine without a wide receiver, even.
no, if you lose Keenan Allen, I think it's
yeah, I could see that. But like a Mike Williams gets injured,
you
they're
can still
all right.
go. And then my second one, since banged out real fast, is Eagles to win division. I think their schedule is cake work, which probably means Cowboys is cake work. And the rest of their division is probably cake work schedule. But it's a sure fact of what I just talked about, how Hurts is going to have a great year this year for where he's getting drafted in fantasy, and I think he's just going to have a good year because of how much weapons he has on his team, followed up by
Is this his contract
above
year?
average defense. What's that?
Is this his contract year? Or has he still got one more year?
No, it's got to be one, possibly two. If you didn't get drafted in the first round, so yeah, one more year.
Yeah, so I mean, he's going to be looking to prove himself too.
Yeah. Well, if he doesn't do good this year, they're
Yep.
looking for a QB next year because there's a lot of good QBs coming out of college. But that's plus 145. It's tied with Cowboys at plus 145 over on FanDuel. So I just like it. You put them together, it's plus 770, I think it is. So I'm definitely taking that. I'm gonna drop 2 units on that motherfucker.
On the parlay?
On the parlay, I'm gonna take it.
I like it.
But my main one is Chargers to win division. I just really like that. For plus 240, dude, you just can't beat that. I'm sorry with how amazing they look. And I know this isn't a future bet, considering what Josh is considering future bets. But week 2, look at it now before you can't. Week 2, Steelers play Patriots at their house. Steelers are going to come off a...
Wait, Steelers home?
Yeah. Steelers are playing at their house. Steelers are coming off an L because they're going to play Bengals week 1 at Bengals. So they're going to lose week 1 at Bengals. And then they're going to come for their first home opener,
Yeah.
and they're going to be playing Patriots, and I think Patriots are not what Patriots
Who do you
used to
think's
be.
the starting QB?
And that's the thing too. If Trubisky does bad, then
think
you have Pickett
already?
come in. If they choose Pickett, well, that's the thing. If they lose that bad to Bengals, like it could be possible. But all I'm saying is, if Pickett plays bad, he could still play a second week and then want to prove something. So he's going to go out and prove and play better than what
Pickett's
he did.
is not starting the season.
I didn't mean Pickett. I meant Trubisky.
Yeah. I get what you're
He
saying.
can go to the second week and play better than he did in the first week. Because if not, we all, as if you follow the NFL, understand that right now they haven't announced the starter yet. So Pickett is there to compete for that starting role this year, not next year, this year. So Trubisky knows that as well. I think the whole Steelers probably knows that. So if he starts off bad, he's going to want to bounce back at the home opener and show out. So I think he's going to do it. And if Pickett's there and he gets to start, he's going to want to show up.
So what's the line? What are you
It's
betting,
plus
money line?
100. I'm going to
For
put
money line?
for money line.
Okay.
I think they're going to easily beat the Patriots. That's probably going to be my lock of the week. Come week 2, if it's still at plus 100. If it's not plus money, which it probably won't be, that's why I'm telling you now to get it now, and just trust and have faith. And when it wins, you can come to me and say
So what are we
thanks for
rolling
the
out?
pick.
Eunice.
5 units.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm put 2 on the parlay,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna put 5 on the Steelers thing. But like I said, that's not technically a future bet if we're talking about future, like the season ending. But my main thing is Chargers. All I'm telling you is right now, jump on it while it's at plus 100. I will make a little clip it of when they move the line down to minus money come week 2, because they're going to do that.
Minus
after week.
105.
Yeah.
Big moves.
It is a big move. You get plus money from negative money. Come on now. Taking
Yeah,
that plus all day, baby. Taking that plus all day.
I got a little bit of a longer shot, kind of like your parlay a little bit, but I actually like it a lot, mainly because I like all 4 of these teams. So all 4 teams, we got 10 plus wins on the season. Don't forget, we're 18-week season, so they just have to win 10 out of 17 games, so 10-7. So our 4 teams, we got Vikings. I was talking about them earlier about really.
They all had to get 10 wins?
Yep, there's a parlay.
Okay.
So Vikings, I was talking about them earlier. I mean,
I think they're going to win the division.
yeah, they're going for a push for Super Bowl. Barring catastrophic injury, they're doing it. Eagles, you just spoke them up.
Think they're going to win the division?
Easy schedule. Why not 10 wins? Like, that should be where they're at to win the division. Chargers, again, you hyped them up. Like,
Win the division?
solid team.
Easily 10. They're definitely
And
10.
the people who just lost the Super Bowl, Bengals, who only improved in the offensive line, only improved overall. I think the only thing still a little bit lower would be like a T. Hinger's injury, and it's not a big deal. I mean, they have depth.
I think they're going to win the division too. If they're all going to win the division, I think easily 10 plus.
Exactly. So you get 10 plus wins, and they could be like, if they're losing the division, it's because they're like tied. So like, I mean, you could always look into those guys all winning the division, but I prefer the 10 plus wins just as a little bit safer. And you get all 4 of them, you get plus 934 odds. I'm putting 2 units on this boy, and I think it's, you get closer to the end of the season, just thank me, because you're going to be 8 wins each, and you're going to be like, whoa, there's still 4 or 5 games left. They only got to win 2 out of 5 left. We win.
Yeah, I definitely
You know?
like that better than the money line of them all winning their division. I don't know why I said money line, but them winning all their division, because Eagles could split with Cowboys and Chargers could split with any fucking team on that division.
Yeah. They could lose
But
it
for
by
them to
1,
get
but still
10,
get 10.
For Chargers to get 10, sure lock. For Eagles to get 10, I think it's a sure lock. For, what was the other guys you said?
Bengals, Chargers, Eagles, Vikings.
Bengals, I think that's a sure lock. And Vikings, I wouldn't say it's a for sure lock, but I like it. So, all right, well, let's jump right into it. Week 1.
All right, so we're going to our week 1 quick picks. We're going to put 60 seconds on a board, and let's just see where our minds go right to. Just them instinct picks. Sometimes are the best, sometimes aren't. I mean, I've blindly followed, and I regret it every time. So, go with the instincts. Don't follow everybody else. All right, ready to start off, Caleb?
Yeah, real fast before we do this. I already asked Josh's week 1 predictions. I'm not going to look at mine just to make this a little bit more fun and see if I actually stick with mine. But I'm taking everyone's week 1 projections. So if you want me to bet some money on your week 1 projections, shoot in the comments real below and let me know your week 1 projections if you see it before the week 1, and I'll get that money in, and maybe we'll just do a little giveaway if your shit hits. You know what I'm saying? So just below in the comments, just let me know your week 1 projection. It's as simple as that. You know, let's say who's gonna win. All you gotta tell me is just
money line.
Yeah, money line and Bills, 49ers, Patriots, whatever the team name is. All right, well, let's jump right into it. First game we got, you tell me it, I say who
wait,
is.
well, hold on for the clock. Here we go, boy. Stick on them. Oh, Bills and Rams.
Rams,
49ers, Bears.
49ers,
Pats, Dolphins.
Dolphins,
Colts, Texans.
Colts,
We got Ravens and Jets.
Ravens,
Packers, Vikings.
Vikings,
Raiders, Chargers.
Chargers.
Bucks, Cowboys.
Ooh, Cowboys,
All right, Eagles, Lions.
Eagles,
Steelers, Bengals. All right, you already had that. Browns and Panthers. Saints, Falcons.
Saints.
Jags, Commanders.
Fuck, this one's tough. Commanders,
I like it. Giants, Titans.
Titans,
Chiefs, Cardinals.
Chiefs,
Juicy. And we
Broncos.
got Broncos and Seahawks at Seattle.
Broncos.
Broncos, go
That's
Wilson,
it right
go.
there, baby. I think
All
I
right,
messed up on
so-
the first one. I think it's a little bit different. I think I picked Bills, but we'll just leave it at Rams.
All right, well, I mean, did it in super fast time, so let me get.
All right, let's run it out. You put out the timer, and then I'll ask you. Here we go.
all
Here
right,
we go.
let me look off my screen and just go by my mind.
All right, we got Bills Rams. Thursday night football, baby, at Rams.
Bills,
Ooh, 49ers Bears.
49ers,
Patriots Dolphins.
Dolphins,
Colts Texans.
Colts, definitely.
Ravens Jets.
Ravens,
Packers versus the Vikings.
Vikings,
Raiders versus Chargers.
Chargers.
Buccaneers versus Cowboys.
Oh, I don't like this one anymore. I'll stick with Cowboys.
All right, we got Eagles versus Lions.
Upset Lions.
Ooh, Steelers versus Bengals.
Bengals, definitely.
Ooh, you said Steelers in my picks. Browns versus Panthers.
Browns.
15 seconds.
Oh,
Saints.
yeah, Panthers. What am I saying?
Ooh,
Panthers.
Saints versus Falcons.
Saints.
Jaguars versus Commanders.
Commanders.
Giants versus Titans.
Titans.
Chiefs versus Cardinals.
Chiefs.
Broncos versus Seahawks.
Broncos.
All right.
Let's
get close.
Dude, that I got tripped off on the Browns Panthers because I wanted to go Baker Mayfield, but I thought Baker Mayfield. I'm like, oh yeah, Browns.
You're like,
duh.
Browns, definitely. And
No,
they're like,
100%
oh, Baker
Panthers.
with the fucking Panthers.
No,
And let's milk it.
I definitely was a little bit off compared to my initial thoughts.
You
I feel
said
like
Steelers.
I feel like the Cowboys tripped me up because of their they lost their one tackle, and I'm just so nervous about them
Who?
starting off.
Buccaneers?
No, the Buccaneers lost their whole offensive line
Yeah.
almost. But the Cowboys lost their star tackle,
yeah,
Trent Smith or whatever. But I'm just worried about the Cowboys starting off slow because of their guys not being there.
Yeah,
That
but
they're
if
used to.
Broncos
Honestly-
if I'm going to project Broncos beginning of the year, it's going to be slow. Same thing as last year. They started off slow, then they started winning games, especially with Godwin out.
You don't get great odds, but I really like the Lions in week 1. Like, if you got really good odds because nobody's on the
I
Lions.
like it too, but I got Eagles like projected high to win the
just
division
Lions
this
at
year,
home,
so-
like I feel like they're underrated, and I feel
especially
like
for the week 1. I like
Eagles
it.
defense isn't going to come off as hot at least week 1. So I don't know. I think
All
they
right.
might surprise.
Like I said, drop the motherfucking comments below on. Sorry for the language if
What do you
anyone
usually
doesn't like
get?
it.
What do you usually get for parlays on a 16 team? It's usually what, like plus 10,000 or higher?
20 usually
Plus
is
20,000.
the lowest one I have. I just did with my boss today, and it was
I feel like it's
59
1,000.
592,000.
500. So
No,
592.
no,
What
that wasn't
times
it.
you bet?
That wasn't
That
it.
sounds crazy.
It was where we be. Here it is. Plus 261,000.
So 261 times your bet.
Yep.
So if you bet
$2,
$10,
I
you
bet
win $2,000.
$2.25.
So you probably
or
bet like
$2.50.
almost 500.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty good odds. But I mean, that's obviously very difficult to do.
Yes.
People try it every week, and they usually are.
But I'm
just
a
a couple off.
hedge it. I'm a hedge it like a mother if it comes down.
Oh, it
to
comes down. Yeah. Well, you should.
Hedge it. I'll be like,
Don't ever forget to
drop,
do that.
Let me drop $4,000.
I always forget when I'm like-
$5,000.
in the moment, I'm like, oh yeah, my bet's gonna win.
Right.
I'm like, fuck, why didn't I hedge it?
But now
bro?
I got like legitimately I have 13.
You know who I was thinking about that didn't
Comments.
hedge? Because honestly, I just don't watch UFC like that. But I was watching the Usman fight, and I'm like, I bet on Usman to win. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to win. Like, all I had to do was bet live on Edwards or whatever, Leon Edwards, and it was like plus like freaking something crazy, like 10,000 with like 2 minutes left,
And you would have got it, yeah.
and I would have like quadruple whatever my money. I would have won more than I would have with Usman.
And that's what I'm saying. The last week is what's it called? The last game is Broncos versus motherfucking Seahawks. So if anyone's pick gets down to the last thing,
they're gonna give you
bro,
a big
I'm
payout.
but I'm gonna hit freaking
Yeah, I know.
Seahawks by like 10,000. They're gonna give me like plus my. Oh, I'm gonna wait for freaking Broncos to go up, right?
yeah.
I'm gonna hit that mother money line all day long and be like plus 1,000. Let's go! I'm making mad cash out here. But anyway, I doubt that'll happen. Let's jump on the last segment. Let it drop, baby. What is it, Josh?
So we got Guess Who. So we're gonna give out some random facts on a current NFL player, and we're gonna see if one of us can guess each other's. Do you have one, or is it just me? Okay, so we're gonna try to guess each other's. If we cannot guess it by the end of this podcast, we're gonna have every follower just throw a comment down, try to give your guess. If you are correct, we will throw you a prize right to your doorstep. You want to start off? You want me?
You can start off.
All right, so fact number 1.
All right, let's get my thinking.
This
cap
player
on.
was the 13th highest, had the 13th highest yard per reception in 2021.
What?
And he was the 15th in 2020, which
Wait,
was
slow
his,
it down, slow it down. One stat at a time.
All right.
13th
it's
highest.
same stat, just 2 different years. So last year, he was the 13th highest in yards per reception.
So he's a receiver
Yeah.
or a running back.
Probably receiver.
Probably
It's
receiver, though.
Highest yards per reception.
Highest yard per
Definitely
reception.
receiver. And then,
So he's a yak king. Most of the time.
or he could just be a deep ball guy.
Yeah.
So yards per reception, not yards after catch. And in his rookie year, he was the 15th.
So he's been here
Highest
for
in
2
league.
years.
Yep. In 2020. So he's primarily been used as a deep ball guy, and he's been in the league for 2 years. All right. Stat number 2. He ranks 3rd last year, 3rd between every receiver in target separation at just under 2.5 yards. So he creates, and just for clarification, that means the distance between him and his defender when the ball is in his hands, like just reaches his hands.
Can I like search up stuff or no?
What do you mean you can't?
Like who's been in? Yeah, they can't.
What do you mean it's gonna pop up? But yeah, so he has a lot of target separation. Just for an example, I mean, obviously the more known star player is going to get the better coverage. So it kind of doesn't say he's the best receiver just because he's ranked 3rd. Like Devontae Adams is ranked like,
I get it. His route running's good.
yeah,
Yeah,
or he just gets
What that
crappy
is.
coverage.
that
But
too.
You never know, but that's for you to decide. His
This
speed,
is the biggest thing.
he ran a
4.35. That's fast as
4.35
hell.
40-yard dash, which is the top 3% of the whole league, NFL. So put him up there with Tyreek's, Jalen Waddle's.
I have an idea and I forget his name and it's really pissing me
All
off.
right. Well, I promise you, don't think about his speed because nobody knows him for his speed. But he did do that. So he is fast. He's a deep ball guy. He's definitely, just as like a little hint more than a clue or fact that I'm giving out, he's definitely, which I guess this kind of goes right with it, some guy that's not on people's radar for fantasy at all. So he's currently 3rd on his team's wide receiver depth chart. So in reality, not really a starter. I mean, he is, but that's only when they're using 3 wide receiver sets, which, hint, they don't do often.
That's not what's gonna. I'm thinking.
And then finally, like I was saying, he's not on the fantasy radar. His ADP is 999. He's undrafted.
if you watch the combine, if
So,
someone has a 4.35
Potential
number,
sleeper, but not really, because I don't see his opportunity is not going to be there.
2020 wide receiver.
All right, 2 years in the league. Where we going?
It's a 2020 wide receiver coming out fast as hell.
He wasn't drafted high in the NFL either. It was like 6th round.
Yeah, I don't, 6th
I guess
round.
just go through like 3rd wide receivers that you even know on teams.
Brandon Ayuk. I don't know if he's 2.
Decent guess, but I think he might even be 2, but he's not. This isn't him. Any other guesses? We'll give you like 2 more.
I'm drawing blanks. 2021 wide receivers, bro.
Just think. I would say
Came out with Joe Burrow.
Think about the 3rd wide receiver that's good. 3rd wide receivers that you think are actually decent.
Ooh,
At least talent-wise.
Cardinals Bowl. What the hell is his name?
I know who you're thinking of.
Moore.
No.
I don't even know if he came in 2020.
I think that was his stats. Are probably that's like a really good guess.
Gage.
I think he came in 2020. No. Those are all good guesses, but no. All right. We're gonna cut you out. One more. I really don't think you're gonna get it. But those are all pretty good guesses. I would probably do the same thing. Especially the Rondell Moore one. He's a fast
Osborne.
dude. I don't know why I was thinking you're gonna guess that, but no, it's not him.
Fuck, I don't even know if he came in 2020. I was like, oh, come on, baby.
No, that's just it's
deep.
Osborne's
Oh.
3rd year too.
So it is one of
Yeah,
them.
he
That's
came
crazy.
in 2022.
Yeah, that's it then. I guess it's off to
Yeah.
the thing you wanted to just tell me who it is.
Oh yeah, so I'll give it out. So the guess who for me was the Philadelphia Eagles
Jalen
3rd
Reagor?
wide receiver depth chart. Jalen Reagor just got traded.
He's still 3rd. on the
Quez
team.
Watkins. He was actually been shining in preseason.
He's
And
3rd. Where is he?
third
we
on the
can't
depth
say this.
chart.
We already
3rd on
said
the
it.
depth chart.
Okay. All right, let's jump
Or are
over
you
to
saying
mine.
3rd in target separation? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
we're gonna
All
black that out. So yeah, that's I did not expect him, and I probably would have never even thought about him, like you said. And that's you said it's a name that I would know. The only reason I know is because off of like
Eagles.
yeah, well, you just said that you got to blur some a lot of stuff out now. But anyway,
Sorry.
all right, we're jumping on to my guess who. Got some 5 facts to start off with the first one.
All right, these better be good.
You can't see it on the
Leave me in a
screen,
blank.
sorry, but he's
Visualize.
drafted 2nd overall in 2015. So he's a vet now.
Wait, he's drafted
2nd overall. Overall, everyone. First
in what
round.
year?
In 2015.
The NFL draft.
NFL draft.
Okay.
All right. So he's been in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
Think of people that have been in the league for a long time.
Yeah, 7 years plus.
Not a lot of people make it that long. He is. This isn't one of them, but I'll just give it to you. He is. Actually, I'm not going to give that to you.
Come on, dude.
No.
I'm trying to think here.
He's a Heisman winner.
What the fuck does that help me? I don't follow college.
Well, that's your fault. He came out. Everyone knew he was a Heisman winner. Come on, you got to know who the Heisman winners are.
Not all of them.
Yeah, Gardner was this
All right, I
past
was
year.
saying
The
I
year
don't
before
know.
that was Joe
Just
Burrow,
go.
I think. He played at Oregon in college.
Okay.
He's great at rushing and using his legs.
Is that 4 or 5?
That's 4.
Do I get one more?
Yeah, the 5th one. He got a touchdown off a reflection. I don't think anyone's done this besides him.
All right. First guess.
If you saw this play and you noticed it,
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm like visual in my
I
head.
feel like you're gonna guess it
So
based off of
I
that.
feel like
That's a really cool
it's
stat.
got to be one of these two.
We only get 3 guesses, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's got to be. I mean, obviously it's a QB. So I'm going with. You just said. I'm going with Carson Wentz.
No.
To Oregon.
You
I think-
watched Eagles. When
The
did
only
he
thing
ever
that threw
do
me
that?
off is the Oregon thing. All right.
Oh yeah, he didn't
I
even
feel
go
like
to
I'm
Oregon.
visualizing this and it's still
Went to North
blanking a
Dakota.
little bit. All right. Mariota?
Ding ding ding.
Yeah, boy.
Oh shit!
I knew
Who
it was
else
one of
would
them
the other
two.
one be?
I feel like I've seen like 3 QBs catch a deflection.
I
don't know if
didn't
they
see
did it for a
anyone do it.
touchdown.
Because
I've
the
seen
second it
Mariota do it.
happened, I had him on my fantasy team.
I
and
can
I was
literally
like,
visualize.
I was like,
he ran
yo,
to the left.
Does that count as
He ran to the left.
Does that count as like a passing touchdown and a running touchdown
That'd
since
be
he
wild.
technically did
Yeah,
it?
he did.
And I don't know what they did that year, but
They
that
probably
was
gave him just a rushing.
that was great. So that's what I thought was going to give it to you. I think if I didn't put that in there, you would have never guessed, to be honest. Even if it was, I gave you all the other facts. And
I mean, I was going
facts.
all Carson Wentz to start because the rushing and the Oregon.
You got drafted in North Dakota, bro. From North
Whatever. I
Dakota.
just see fucking Carson Wentz face. I'm like, oh, that's a duck face. That's Oregon's.
I can't believe you remember. I thought you were gonna guess it because when
that
it
was
happened,
easy.
it was a big controversy thing. I'm like, what should it be?
That was easy, especially thinking like, because I knew it was a QB and I knew it had to be like a star.
You don't remember being
drafted.
a Heisman?
No, I did. After
Yeah,
I
he was-
thought,
he
I'm
was
like,
like-
oh, running, oh, pass it. Yeah, that's Mariota.
Yeah.
I was gonna start with him, but I'm like, nah, we'll start with
And
Wentz.
he's
'cause
been in the
Oregon.
league for a long time. I was gonna say he's a starter, but then I'm like,
don't
you're legitimately gonna think of 32 people. Then like that's too easy. Because
Yeah,
he's a starter for the Falcons.
yeah.
But then I was like, I'm not gonna say that. Screw that. But I think that last thing was dope. You didn't give me anything like that, like something that would like point out that crazy. But it would be like Quez Watkins, like give me like I don't even know, like
Fucking gonna say, oh, he hit a deep ball this preseason.
didn't
like,
he have like a crazy game though that one time because it was him and Rager.
He always had.
No, it was when Rager got hurt and they had no one in the fields. It was like their wide receiver thing was like had
It was,
no one. It was straight
Fulgham?
randoms. Yeah, it was like randoms
Remember
everywhere.
Fulgham?
Yeah, it was him. It was Watkins. It was
Yeah, Watkins is
Whiteside.
decent. I think Watkins has been. I mean, his completion rate for I think the last 2 years has been just under 70%. Is like, I mean, all these stats right here.
It could have been like he was part of the
You know, we got to cut this all out, right?
nameless thing. No,
I just said his name like 5 more times.
who
What do you mean? My God,
you did?
the guess who? Yeah.
All right, I guess you're gonna have to cut it all out. But anyway, ding, 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 ding. Josh hit it.
Chicken dinner.
Yeah, with his
Can't
second
win
guess
any
too.
prize.
I'm pretty impressed. After you went with Carson Wentz first, I was like, okay, he's not going to get it. And then he came out with Marcus Mariota. So props to him. I'd love to do that again, but we'll have to do it another time. And I'm going to obviously have to make it harder since you made it so fucking hard. 13th highest in yard per reception in 2021. 15th highest in 2020 for rookie year. Who was supposed to know any of that? Like, come on now.
Well, you just think of. Yeah.
Yeah, you just think of all wide
Well, I give you. He ran at 4.35. That's
yeah,
a fast
that one I liked a lot.
And he's third on his team's wide receiver depth chart. Like, you had like 4 good guesses. They just happen to all be wrong.
That's 32 teams.
Yeah.
And the third can be debatable with the second, depending on what team it is.
He's undrafted.
That's also a guy that legitimately is not like
know, but-
he's 6th round. You said I had a fucking second overall
Coffee's
draft.
flowing.
All right, well that's it for today. If you guys lasted this long, appreciate it. Leave a comment. Let us know what topic you like. If you liked any, if you want to jump on with us and run one of these with us,
in.
or just want to run a topic with us, just let us know. We can get you on the podcast. It's super easy. However you want to run it, we can make it happen. And yeah, if you are subscribed, unsubscribe, and resubscribe, helps the channel out. If you aren't subscribed, then please subscribe and share, like, and comment. We will catch you guys later. Peace.